Cheers and greetings, one and all, and welcome to a special episode of Lunchtime with Tom on Tom's Hit Parade Live. I hope y'all are doing well. Yes, I just basically decided to do this kind of at the last minute. Well, I decided during the weekend that I was going to do this. I was going to do it at 11:30, but obviously it's a little bit past that. I'm a little over a half hour late, but yes, I am working one day a week from home now, so hence my ability to do a lunchtime with Tom during the week. Hope you all are doing well. I'm doing well here, but yeah, I wanted to get this out mainly because I haven't done a video in what's it been, 2 weekends, or has it been 3 weekends now? I'm not counting this as a weekend video because it's a Monday. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the status of my channel and why I haven't been YouTubing quite as much as my new usual lately. And also, I took a couple of trips to a local thrift store recently, which is actually going to be closing down and going strictly online. Closing down their brick and mortar store, obviously. And just wanted to show you what I found there. All the while I am chowing down on some leftover meatloaf. Are the lights a little bright? Maybe, well, when I get close up to them. But yes. Some people might argue that the words leftover meatloaf are two of the saddest words in the English language, but not when we're talking about my mother's meatloaf recipe, which is beyond reproach. Look it up. Not the recipe, but the definition of the word reproach, in case you don't know it. But yes, so yeah, my channel is, as I've mentioned a few times, I hope I don't sound like I'm repeating myself too much here, but I have, ever since the 1st of January, I have been having trouble regaining the enthusiasm for posting videos. And I kind of passed a benchmark, I guess you'd say, recently, in that a few weeks ago I didn't do a video and I wasn't sad about it or disappointed with myself. So that's kind of I think I'm not ready to be done with my YouTube channel. I'd like to. January of 2023 is the 5-year anniversary of my channel, and I want to continue posting videos at least semi-regularly until then. I don't intend to shut my channel down after that. I'll probably post videos, but it might just be once a month or something after that. But and plus, I've still got all those darn mystery CD grab bags I want to get through. I bought them and packaged them up, and I don't want that effort to go to waste. So at the very least, I'll be doing bargain bag until the end of 2023. So there you have that. But and I'll probably do vinyl find, or music finds and that kind of thing. I don't know about my playlist feature. I still keep a running list of the stuff that I've listened to, just in case I feel like doing a playlist video. But as you've noticed, it's been kind of falling by the wayside. But yeah, just have not had a lot of enthusiasm for doing YouTube videos lately. Hopefully, it will regain it. It'll come back naturally. That would be the ideal scenario. But anyway, so yeah, that's just kind of, and a lot of the stuff that's been going on in the world lately, in the news and all that stuff, from the stuff going on in Ukraine to the stuff going on with our Supreme Court, has been very distracting, and I think that is a key reason why I have been not in the mood to do YouTube videos lately. It's just, the crap of the world has been rearing its ugly head and has drained my enthusiasm for a few things, YouTube being one of them. So I need to stop doom scrolling. I do that constantly when there's not a lot going on at work. I find myself doom scrolling. And so yeah, there's a fine line. You have to draw a fine balance between wanting to stay informed, watching the news and all that stuff, and wanting to not know about all that stuff. There's a really fine line to that. And so yeah, it's a constant effort to try and find the right balance on that line, or to tiptoe that line, as it were. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. I've probably said all of the same stuff that I've said in other videos, but just wanted to let you guys know where things are with that. And I take another bite of my meatloaf. With peas and carrots. Anyway, so yes, the thrift store, I actually do not remember what the name of it is. It's like 100 feet away from House of Records. It's like across the street, 1 block away from House of Records. And they've been there for a few years. And when I go by there, I see this bookcase right by the window. And it's got 2.5 shelves of records, or it had 2.5 shelves of records. Thanks partially to me, it's down to just 2 shelves now, as I'll show you in a minute. But I never bothered to go in and look at the records because I've had this prejudice. I'll admit it, it's a prejudice against thrift store records. Partly because it completely out of ignorance, because I've never bothered going to thrift stores and looking through their records really. But as it turns out, I found quite a few good gems. Well, gems to me anyway. And the beauty of it is, as I mentioned at the top of the video, they are about to shut their brick and mortar store and go strictly online. So everything in the store is 40% off. And the records originally were 99 cents a piece. So yes, I got all of these records for 60 cents each. So, and they're actually in really good condition. I spent the weekend cleaning them. That's one reason why you didn't get a video from me during the weekend, was went and had lunch with my aunt and uncle down south in Southern Oregon on Saturday. So that took care of that day. And yesterday I wanted to get these records cleaned. So there you go. But yes, I thought I would go through them and show you the goodies that I got with bites of meatloaf interspersed between the records. Starting out kind of in chronological order of the stuff, classic stuff first and then more recent stuff. Here we have an album by Dinah Washington, the jazz chanteuse. It's an album called Unforgettable. It, of course, has the Nat King Cole hit Unforgettable, as well as a whole bunch of other standards. That's pretty cool. I'm not a huge fan of Dinah Washington, but I've been wanting to get into her stuff a little more. I am a pretty darn big fan of Johnny Mathis. Here's an album, Johnny's Mood. And as you can see, I mean, the jackets are in really good shape, and the records, the discs themselves are in really good shape too. So yeah, this is my 5th or 6th Johnny Mathis LP that I have. So yeah, lots of good stuff. And then we have a couple of singers from the 50s, I believe. First of all, we have Joe Stafford, Joe Stafford's Greatest Hits. And this is, mainly stuff that was popular back in the 30s, 40s, 50s. Has the Tennessee Waltz, which is a classic country song. And Stardust, which is another really popular one. You Belong to Me. So been wanting to check out Joe Stafford. I've probably heard her. She's probably been peppered on various compilations that I have, but just incidentally is how I've listened to Joe Stafford so far. And similar with Teresa Brewer, another 50s singer. And let's see, what do we have here? I actually don't recognize. Oh, Bye Bye Baby Goodbye. That one's a song title that I recognize. But a lot of these are ones that lesser known songs from the period. So, yeah. And then we have one soundtrack that I picked up. It is a soundtrack from The Sting. And yes, as you probably know, The Sting showcased the music of Scott Joplin, rearranged and conducted and adapted by Marvin Hamlish, along with some of his own original music sprinkled into the soundtrack as well. But yes, you know that I'm a big fan of, a pretty decent fan of Scott Joplin. In my Oklahoma Crawl and Haul video, you saw a 5 CD set of the complete works of Scott Joplin. So I'm no stranger to his music. And I've actually never heard the soundtrack from The Sting, nor have I ever seen the movie. So it's my first exposure to that. Probably one of the most well-known soundtracks of all time, I would think. But yeah. And then we have a 2-volume set, or a 2 LP set of the best of Les Brown. a jazz band leader from the 30s and 40s. Les Brown and his Band of Renown is a well-known group from back then. And then, yes, Sentimental Journey, I've Got My Love to Keep Me Warm. You're the Cream in My Coffee, I like that one. That song came to my attention from Seth MacFarlane. He did a great rendition of that. And I could go on about what I love about Seth MacFarlane's albums is he chooses the lesser-known old standards to put on his albums rather than the stuff everybody's heard. See, It's All Right With Me, Brown's Little Jug. Oh, I wonder if that's a variation on Little Brown Jug. Maybe it is. But anyway. And then we've got a couple of more recent jazz albums. So yeah, I guess this stuff is not totally in chronological order, but so hey Noah, glad to see you could drop by for a minute anyway. Yeah, the schedule is probably not the best, but anyway, a couple of more recent jazz albums: Bob James and Earl Klug. This is actually Earl Klug and Bob James, the album Two of a Kind. And actually, this one was put out first, so I should have shown this one first. Bob James and Earl Klug with the album One on One. So yes, one of them was released on Bob James's label, Columbia, and the other one was released on Earl Klug's label, and hence their billing was reversed between the two of them. I have a few Bob James albums, so yeah, he's a good jazz artist. And then we have a couple of artists that I have become fond of recently. Actually, let me take another bite of my meatloaf first, along with peas and carrots. It's best if I try to at least partially consume my lunch during my lunchtime. Okay. Pardon the chewing. Yes. Two artists that I have become rather fond of in the last few years. This first one, thanks to my A to Z, I found one of his albums in the dollar section at House of Records. Trini Lopez. This is his album, Trini Lopez Now. Now being the late 60s, it looks like. That's the problem with these old records, is they were very inconsistent about putting copyright dates on the records, and I cannot find one. So all you can sometimes tell from the songs that are included about what era it was from. Born Free, and there's a kind of Hush All Over the World. So this was sometime in the 60s, mid to late 60s, I think. And then the other artist that I've become kind of fond of is Jose Feliciano, a great folk rock guitarist from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and he's actually still alive, and I think he's still recording as well. So one of his soul, folk, rock, and blues selections here. It's got the song Help, which I would assume is the Beatles song. And Go Your Own Way, which I don't think... No, that wouldn't be the Fleetwood Mac song, because this actually does have a copyright date. 1966 is when this album was from. But anyway, good stuff. And then we have an artist that I know from his... one of the more popular novelty songs of his that was on a Dr. Demento compilation. But he's also done voice work for Disney cartoons and sung songs in Disney cartoons, most notably The Jungle Book, I think. Phil Harris. Some of you guys know him. But yes, his song The Thing is my favorite, well, really the only song of his that I really know. That's fantastic. Of course, I know The Bare Necessities from The Jungle Book. But yeah, I've wanted to expose myself more to Phil Harris's music. So I figured at 60 cents, why not take the chance? And then we have another artist. I have her, well, it's actually not any longer her most recent album, but one of her most recent albums, Walls, was one of my favorite albums of its, well, actually, it was my favorite album of its year a few years ago. So I decided to pick up her first album. So I've got her next to most recent album and her first album, Barbra Streisand. This is the Barbra Streisand album. Yes, always never afraid to add a little bit of Barbra Streisand to my collection. And then we have this another artist's, this is their second album. I've got their first album, and I can't remember if I got it on the freebie shelf or if I got it from my sister and brother-in-law's collection. But Peter, Paul, and Mary, this is their sophomore album, Moving. This one has Puff the Magic Dragon on it, one of their big hits. and also a cover of This Land Is Your Land, the, what's his name? I can't remember his name. And I went to visit his exhibit in Tulsa, and his name is escaping me right now. Guthrie, Woody Guthrie, thank you. Thank you to myself for remembering it, finally. Anyway, the joys of live streaming. And now we're moving into the 70s stuff. Actually, a couple of these probably... Oh, no, the Peter, Paul, and Mary was from 1963. This one is from 1973, actually. Donny Osmond, his album Alone Together. And I found out that his most recent album, which I absolutely loved, just got released on vinyl. So I'm actually thinking, I liked it so enough that I think I'm going to buy it on vinyl. So, but this is an album of his from the 70s. No, not the 50s. No, Donny, you're not that old. And then we're moving into some 70s or 80s stuff. This is from, I think, 1978. Nick Gilder. This is the album City Nights. And you might know him, one of the songs, or possibly the song, that he was most famous for is Hot Child in the City. And that is on this album. So I decided to go ahead and take a bit more of a sampling of his. Now, this is a band that I have never heard of, Novo Combo. And this is their sophomore album I read online, The Animation Generation. As you can probably tell from this, it is very 80s. This was released in 1982. So, yeah, I thought I'd give them a try just because it just seems like from the cover of the album, it looked like something I would enjoy. So I decided to go ahead and pick it up. Again, as I said, for 60 cents each, why not? And then here's an artist who I have some of her older stuff, and this must be one of her most recent albums, although this was from 1975. Carmen McRae. The album is called I Am Music. And of course, the title of the album kind of drew me in and made me want to give it a sample. So her original classic stuff from the 50s and 60s was great. So hopefully her later stuff holds up as well. So there you go. And then I got a couple of classic, much more recent female artists. We got Carly Simon with her album Torch. And that is, I guess that's one of the first albums that she did a lot of standard pop standards on. And then we have Linda Ronstadt with her album Don't Cry Now. So, and just throw a couple of 70s divas in there. And actually, here's another 70s diva. This album's from 1977. Kiki Dee, although she was much more famous for the duet that she did with Elton John, Don't Go Breaking My Heart. I don't know that she had any really big solo hits, but this is her self-titled solo album. So pick that up. Then we have a gentleman who his name you might not recognize, Bill Champlin. This is his sophomore album, I believe, Runaway, and he was actually a member of Chicago for a while. He did lead vocals on a couple of their songs, so yeah, thought I'd check him out. And now we're down to the final three in my list here, my stack. This one I did not expect to find. I didn't even know they put out any stuff on vinyl. This is actually a CD. Well, it's actually not a single. It's an EP. It's got 4 tracks, 2 on each side. Poi Dog Pondering, an artist that you have heard me mention recently a few times. This is Circle Around the Sun. It's yes, as I said, it's got 4 tracks, and this was released on an independent label. It was before they got signed to Columbia. I think Columbia is the label that they were signed to. So yeah, I thought that was very cool to pick up. And then the 2 final ones are, I decided to save 2 of my favorite scores from this lot for last. And they are both from the 80s. 80s, I believe. Might be late 70s. James Ingram, his first album, It's Your Night. This is the one that has his duet with Michael McDonald, Ya Mo Be There. Love that song from the 80s, and so I thought I'd definitely pick this one up and give it a listen. As well as, this is one that I've kind of had on my list before I ever stopped at the thrift store to take a look around. So, oh, sorry, I just want to check. Gosh, I'm only a half hour into my, not even a half hour. How did I get through this list so fast? Anyway, this is one that I actually was kind of had on my mental list to look for, and lo and behold, it was there at the thrift store. And I would have missed out on it if I'd never gone into the thrift store. This is Philip Bailey with his album Chinese Wall. This is the one that has his duet with Phil Collins, Easy Lover, one of my absolute favorite songs from the 80s. So I was very, very happy to get this one. I've got Phil Collins' 2-disc CD compilation singles, which has this song, and actually I think Easy Lover leads off the 2-disc set. But yeah, definitely wanted to check this out, check out more of Philip Bailey. He was one of the 2 lead vocalists of Earth, Wind, and Fire, in case you didn't know. So yeah, that is my haul from the thrift stores. I actually paid 2 visits during the week last week, Tuesday and Friday, I think they were, and yeah, picked up about a dozen albums each. So yeah, a nice big stack of vinyl that I am going to have to find the time to listen to. I figure I should check out one, or I never seem to listen to music at night, and that's something I really probably ought to start doing. And so now I have a real excuse to, it's kind of like, how else am I going to hope to pare down my to-listen-to stack of vinyl? So I figured I'd put on a record or 2 if I have the time every night and give it a go. So, and that's probably something that would help me relax and help me get to sleep at night is rather than watching TV, put on a record. Nice soothing record. Why not, right? It's worth a try. So anyway, yeah. Hope you guys are doing well. I did not expect to be through that list of my list of vinyl quite so fast. But yeah, I'm not sure what else I'm going to talk about. This video might end much sooner than I thought it was going to, because it would be boring for you to just sit and watch me eat meatloaf. What else am I figure there are things I could talk about. Oh yes, a couple of music passings, in case I don't get around to doing a playlist video at any point in the near future. Mickey Gilley just passed away yesterday. Country artist he was 86, I think it was. So yeah, he had. I'm not familiar with any of his hits. Never really gave him a listen, but yeah, always sad for a country legend to pass away, and of course. Naomi Judd, very, very sad to see her go, and under such tragic circumstances. So yeah, very, very sad passings in the world of music recently. So let's see, anything else? We'll probably be doing my next bargain bag next weekend. I'm taking the opportunity of working at home to listen to the bargain bag CDs because I hadn't gotten around to doing that until this week. So some pretty decent stuff. I'm only halfway through them, so hopefully there are a few keepers in this lot. We'll find out next weekend. So yeah. I thought there was going to be so much more to this video than, 23 minutes worth. But I guess that's the way it goes sometimes, isn't it? So yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off here, unless if there's anybody out there stealth watching who has any questions before I sign off. I hope you guys are doing well. The weather here has been just crazy, crazy mild. We're usually in the upper 60s, lower 70s in Oregon at this time of the year. And we have had 2, maybe 3 days of that. And the rain has basically stopped usually by this time. But we have had so much rain over the past few weeks. A tree came down in our yard. It completely missed our house. It fell in the opposite direction. But yeah, it happened Saturday evening and created a nice big hole where the root ball used to be. So, hey, Anna, how are you? So, yes, a little tree falling excitement in our yard Saturday evening, but and yeah, it's just the tree is like right along the edge of a creek. We have a creek running along the back boundary of our property, and this, the tree was leaning over the creek for starters. It had a natural lean to it, and the root ball was basically like halfway over the creek, and so with all the rainfall that we've had recently, softening the soil, and the creek flow undermining the root ball. I am not terribly surprised that it finally met its end this past weekend. So yeah. The tree had been dead for a long time, so it's not like it was a live tree. So, and that was another contributing factor, was the roots were probably dead also. So yeah. Yeah, we've had a couple branches actually hit our house. One of them kind of punched a little hole in our roof at one point, but I think it was, we didn't get any rain before we were able to get it patched, so no damage, except for the hole in the roof that we had to fix. But we've been pretty lucky with all the trees around our property that we've not had any damage. And a few years ago, we had an arborist come out and take a look at all the trees. Any trees that, we'd saved up the money, and any trees that had any threat, possibility of hitting our house, they topped off. So, and it was turned out about a year later that that's a good thing that happened, because we've had a couple of pretty good windstorms since then. So anyway, that's Tree Chatter with Tom. So yes, I hope you guys are doing well. I've said that. This is like the 6th time I've said that during this, what do you call it? Live stream. Yeah. Yum, yum. Lightning struck it. Well, yeah, we've never had that happen, but wow. Caused a fire. Goodness. And I don't know if your area that you live in is particularly vulnerable to thunderstorms, but yeah. We fortunately don't have a lot out where we are. So, but yeah, and actually the sun is starting to come out. Yes, the sun is something we haven't seen a whole lot of in the last few weeks. So anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it here, because I do need to finish eating my lunch and all that stuff before I have to actually punch back into work. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And yeah, I will forego my regular sign off. You guys know it by heart, even though I don't really know it yet and probably should. That's me, my memory for you. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful week. And in the meantime, remember, life's too short to be a music snob. I remembered that part. See ya.